All right, howdy, folks. I just wanted to make a quick video about my like dog shit workflow prior to discovering InDesign because I think it's really fucking funny. And because everyone in my life just like let me struggle so goddamn much without telling me like, hey, you're a fucking idiot. You shouldn't do it that way. Um, Making my first zine was a fucking nightmare. It sucked. I thought about giving up on it all the fucking time. I was just like constantly texting people, being just like, "Man, fuck this shit. It's not going anywhere. This is a dog shit product, project, not product. Not make products." I fucking hated it. I wanted to kill myself so bad. I was like, "This fucking sucks." And part of that was like my fuck ass workflow that I didn't discover until very recently was the dumbest fucking way to do this shit ever. And I wanted to talk about how I used to be doing this. Um, so this is for Puppy Dog Tales.txt, the first comic I made last year, I want to say. It's super short. It's like 6 fucking pages. It's only 3 sheets of paper. It should not have taken me nearly as long as it did. A lot of that was discovering how to make comics for the first time and how to make zines. Um, so I just wanted to talk about that because I think it's really funny. So the way I was doing things before was I was doing it exclusively in Photoshop because that just made the most sense to me, and it was what I was familiar with. I used at that point I was only really familiar with, as far as the Adobe Suite goes, like Premiere, which really doesn't have any bearing on this project, obviously. Premiere, Photoshop, and Illustrator. So Illustrator I used for like some of the text elements, and then I'd like bring them over into Photoshop, but mostly Photoshop. I don't know why. That just it was what I was familiar with at the time, and it just seemed to make sense. And so the way I was doing it was that I had like a zine template that I bought from, oh, what the fuck is that place called? It's in Chicago. Quimby's. From Quimby's. It was like a zine template. It's like, use this as a template for how to order a zine and like put the pages in order and stuff, which was invaluable. In fucking valuable. I never considered the physics and the mechanics of folding paper and how that like alters how you have to order the individual pages so that when you fold it and read it, it actually makes fucking sense and is in sequential order. God forbid. Um, so I used that to help me order the pages, and the way that I was doing it was the most insane fucking thing ever. I made this document, um, which is just like an 8.5 by 11 flip sideways, and every single individual page, every image is just a layer. And so what I would do is I would make all of these layers from like the scans. I'd fix them up. I'd like alter them, edit them so that they looked the way I wanted them to for like printing. And then all of these are like individual layers. I would make like I would like hide all the layers that were like unnecessary for that individual spread. Like this is the first spread. Like this is like the cover, right? So like when you open it up, it looks like that. That's like the first like sheet of paper, the first side of it. So I'd place them in this document, and then I would export just this individual spread, just this image of an 8.5 by 11 as a PDF. And I did that for every single individual spread, every single individual side of the 8.5 by 11. I would move them by hand and then just like do this, and I'd export them so that I'd have this like stupid fucking folder that looks like this that just says print ready 1, print ready 2, print ready 3 simple. The reason it says simple is I'll get into that in a minute. So I did all of that. So I ended up with like 6 individual spreads, and then I went online, was like PDF merger or like compressor, so that I could take all 6 PDFs and then just mash them together into one PDF. Because God forbid I know how to do anything in the way that makes the most sense. And then I realized that I saved and I exported all these as like editable PDF so that you could open the PDF in Photoshop and still edit the elements. And that made these files fucking huge. Huge, my friend, huge. And so when I was using this online tool, also offered by Adobe, which at that point I feel like Adobe should have like had the little like had a little like tip or like some guy tell me, possibly Clippy, be like, hey, you're a fucking idiot. This is dumb. This is fucking stupid. Let me help you out with this. That didn't happen. But the online tool I was using was like, these files are too fucking big. Make them smaller. I'm not making this like gigabyte PDF. I don't know how big it was, but it told me the files were too big. So I had to go back, re-export each individual spread as a PDF that you could not edit in Photoshop, because why would I be it's for printing. I don't need to edit it. I think in the back of my head I was just like, I'm probably gonna fuck this up, and when I go to Digicopy to get it printed, they're probably gonna be like, you fucked this up, we have to edit this. At which point I'd be like, oh well, because I'm smart, I made all the fucking PDFs editable. That's not what happened. I was doing something fucking stupid. So I had to re-export all of them as simple PDFs. And then I like merged all of those PDFs. I had to put them into order in like this tool to get this file, which I have open right here. So this is what they look like. The individual spreads just look like this. And then I merged them all together into a PDF that looks like this. And then you would just print this and make sure it's like double-sided and flip on the short side. Which is great. It makes like I wouldn't say it makes sense. It worked. It works, which is like all I needed at the time, because I was just like, I was in the fucking weeds, man. I was like worried about this and that, and like, oh, this panel looks like dog shit. Oh my fucking god, I need to get better at lettering. This looks like ass. So like the last thing I was really thinking about was like, what's the most sensical way to make the PDF necessary for printing a zine? That was like the last thing I was thinking about. And so like this worked and everything. And I still use this file, right? But fucking when I started working on the new zine, I discovered InDesign, and oh my fucking god, it was like discovering fire. It like felt like I was like a caveman discovering fire for the first time and realizing I didn't have to eat raw food to sustain myself. Like the fact that I can get like page numbers and I don't have to like type them in by hand every single time, or like the footnotes, like there's just like a footnote like tool and like system already in here, and like the text, like you link the text boxes together so that if text goes off towards like off of the page on the last page, you link the next page, the text just shows up on the next page. Everything made sense. It like was like, oh, they have a program that's for and they even have options for just like printing a booklet from here. Mind you, printing this was a nightmare. Until it wasn't. I figured it out. Everything's fine. I now have like a PDF that works for this, and everything makes sense, and blah 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 blah. None of that matters. But like this isn't that interesting. It really isn't. But I need you to understand how much it felt like, like discovering fire when I discovered InDesign, because of the dog shit way I was doing this. I was like losing sleep as I was like writing the thesis and like trying to finish that document, and thinking like, okay, if I finish it by like this date, I'll have like 2 or 3 weeks to make it into a zine and fold those copies and print them and staple them. And I was like losing sleep because I was like, it's going to be a fucking nightmare. Because like the last one, it was only 6 pages. So like figuring out how to order the pages and everything, like that like was a fucking nightmare. I printed so many copies that made no fucking sense and were not formatted correctly. And it took forever. But this is like 72 fucking pages. Like, I don't know. Like my brain doesn't compute like, okay, so the last page is on the first page and the first page is on the second page, and then I don't know where to go from there. it was a fucking nightmare. I was losing sleep about this. And then I discovered InDesign and everything made fucking sense. This isn't like an ad read for like the Adobe suite. Like fuck Adobe, obviously. The subscription model is fucking dog shit. But like, oh my God, dude, this was so exciting to figure out that there's a program that is built for this type of workflow and that I don't need to like use sticks to make it in the nature. Shout out to Red Hot Chili Peppers. But you know what I mean? Like this was fucking crazy. I just wanted to make a quick video about that because like, you know, I told people all the time, like my workflow for the last comic and like zine was just a fucking nightmare. It made no fucking sense. And like people kind of were like, oh, for sure. Yeah, no, I'm sure you were like, you know, amateur artist doing something kind of silly. No, dude, you have no idea how bad it was. And so, yeah, thanks for listening.